Trump's endorsement will be incredibly important because people want his agenda passed. I want his agenda passed, and I couldn't be more honored that he has given me his endorsement and full support.
That is Luther Strange. All eyes in the state of Alabama today. Voters head to the poll for a special Republican primary. The vacant seat left by Attorney General Jeff Sessions is now up for grabs. And with this race testing the reach of the president, the reach of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who both have endorsed Luther Strange. My guest now, President of the Senate Leadership Fund and former Chief of Staff to Mitch McConnell, Stephen Law, in studio. And nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too.
What do you think this election means right now, not knowing clearly the outcome?
Well, obviously, the election result will tell us a lot. Right now, we're just guessing, obviously, but I think it's going to be a major test of the power of Donald Trump's endorsement. He came in somewhat late, endorsed Luther Strange at a point where Luther Strange was well behind Roy Moore. We think that Luther Strange is surging, probably pulled even with Roy Moore, and will definitely be in a runoff with Moore as a result of the president's endorsement.
Right now, it's a tight race, right?
Right.
Would you?
Yes.
You would concede that?
Absolutely.
And if you don't get to 50%, there's going to be a runoff in September.
That's correct, yeah.
All right. Now, does Mitch McConnell help Luther Strange in Alabama?
Certainly his group is helping Luther Strange a great deal. We've been in there mostly talking about Mo Brooks, but then in the last week we've been spending a lot of time talking about Luther Strange and Donald Trump's endorsement of him, and we hope that helps push him across the finish line.
Which is my next question. How much of an endorsement does Donald Trump do for Luther Strange?
Well, if Alabama voters know about it, and I think they're going to know about it, both with our advertising and with what the president is doing himself, it's a huge impact. Donald Trump is very popular in the South. In Alabama, in our last poll, Donald Trump had an 85% approval rating among primary voters, so I'd say he packs a big wallop in that state.
Here's where things get a little confusing, and I don't want to say squishy, but maybe squishy too politically as well. The president tweeted this a bit earlier today on screen. Big day in Alabama. Vote for Luther Strange. He will be great. In the meantime, here's a political ad from Mo Brooks as well that runs the following way.
They fight to keep the 60% rule that kills your agenda. I sure don't. McConnell and Strange are weak, but together we can be strong.
That's the guy who's also driving around the state in a bus that says "Drain the Swamp Express."
Right.
That's a Trump message.
Well, Mo Brooks is in a very tough spot because all during the presidential campaign last year, he was strongly anti-Trump. He's been anti-Trump at different points of this campaign as well, and that's a really tough problem that Mo Brooks has. So the only thing that he can do is to go after Senator McConnell. We think that it's not going to play. We think that that's not a message that will resonate with Alabama voters. They're going to be very interested in who their president supports and the fact that Luther Strange is on the president's side.
Things get even murkier now. Mark Levin, a radio host, tweeted the following. Here's hoping Mo Brooks supporters in Alabama turn out in large numbers to vote today and defeat McConnell's lapdog, Luther Strange. How are Republican voters expected to understand this?
Well, I think voters sort it out. They almost always do in every election, and they usually kind of look at the most critical issues that matter to them. They care about their president. They care about who he supports and who supports him, and that's Luther Strange. Mo Brooks and his allies have focused a whole lot on Mitch McConnell, and we think that it just reflects the fact that they have a very beltway mentality that is not going to resonate with Alabama voters and what they care about.
Roy Moore is the Alabama Chief Justice who made a lot of headlines 10 years ago on the Ten Commandments. And that was an issue that Southern conservatives rallied around. Does he have much hope of winning today?
Well, he will almost certainly be in the runoff if Luther Strange doesn't get to 50%, and we think it'll probably be a runoff. He's not currently the Chief Justice. He lost his job. He's actually lost it twice. But you're right. He does have a base of support that is significant in the state, but we also think that he's probably hit a ceiling. His numbers have hardly changed at all over the last few weeks, and we think that reflects the fact that all of the vote share that he's gotten is what he's going to get, and he's not going to be able to build enough so that if he's running against Luther Strange in the runoff, will be successful.
Give me a sense overall for how folks in Alabama who were on board the Trump train early, when you think about Jeff Sessions, when you think about that overwhelming primary victory that the president won in Alabama early on during the campaign, are they still with him? And if so, by how much?
They're very much with him. We polled a lot during this whole campaign, and they're sticking with their man. They like him. They like what he stands for. They don't like every single thing that he does, and they were a little bit nervous about what the fight that he had for a little bit with his Attorney General, the beloved Jeff Sessions, who's also admired a great deal in the state. But they're very strongly with him. They like the fact that Luther Strange was consistently with him all throughout, and they really don't like the fact that Mo Brooks was a fair-weather friend. In fact, mostly an enemy, and that has only recally tried to ally himself with
If
Mo
you've
Brooks.
polled on this, then just to nail down a number, if they were 90% before with him, what are they now with him?
Yeah, no, they're between 85 and 90% are supportive of him among Republican primary voters. We didn't test the whole state, but among Republican primary voters, they're standing with Trump.
We shall see. They're voting in Alabama. Stephen Law, thank you for your time.
Thanks, so.
Great to see you in person.
Great
all right?
to see you, too.